a little more each day. That's it. We're all awakening in varying degrees of intensity and intent. So it could be just a little bit, but it's still progress. And if you build on your progress, you'll be excited daily if you're actually building on your successes. And you do have many, many successes in a day's time. Oh, I'm sure you have failures too, but you actually have more successes than you're actually aware of. And just simple things that you do, but you're successful at it. But you don't build on your successes. You're always thinking feelingly from all your problems. And all you're doing is expanding your problems. Because what you think upon expands. And what you're thinking upon, what you're looking for, is actually looking for you. And you're on all the time. Are you aware, even half the time that you're on, that you're in control? Because you are. And when you're not paying attention, that's why you have all those problems you get worried about. Think only on things that are lovely and of good report. That it's just a stepping stone, but it leads to greater and greater and greater understanding. Wouldn't you say?
I would. And what we're asking you to do is really just kind of exercise that muscle of imagination, and the more you exercise that muscle, the greater effects you're going to have.
Yeah. Yeah, and it is just exactly that simple. And people say often, how can anything so simple have that much power? But it has all the power because there is only one. Just which way are you aiming that power? That's all you need to settle with yourself. Are you constantly looking for what it is you don't want, or are you looking for what it is you do want? It's your decision. See, that's the thing. It is you choosing this day. And, of course, as I've said before, it's always this day, and it's always now. And now is the time for proper change in your world of experiencing, if that's what you're looking for. Better is better, as DeCarlo said. That's all we're expressing to you is better and better of whatever you're thinking feelingly about. Better and better. Isn't that the idea?
That's the ideal. And it comes back to our topic, attitude awareness. What is your attitude? And imaginational control. What are you giving your attention to?
Yeah, really. What are you giving your attention to? That is a question I ask myself. I'm sitting here in the office, and I have all kinds of electronic, whatever it is. I don't know how it works, just what it does. But, you're so easily distracted by everything out around you. Plus, you add many distractions that are unnecessary into whatever it is you're focused on, because it is a natural occurrence. Just like all the, someone thought one time about getting away to the jungle, and as a matter of fact, they did go on a trip, and they did go to the jungle. And the woman came back, and she said, I said, what was the most impressive thing? And she says, I'll tell you, I never really understood the noise in the jungle. There's something howling, squeaking, or rearing up all the time. And it's a wonder people ever get any sleep in the jungle. But you see, that's it. You look at the movies and you see all these things and you wonder, oh, well, that's all right. Look, they're just trekking along. Everything's okay. But you don't experience the 116-degree heat by looking at the movie, and they're not really doing that. So you don't get a clear picture of what's going on around you. It's the clear picture of what's going on within you. That's your focus, isn't it?
It is your focus. And, I like the example of the jungle because it's so true. When I was in the military, I went to the Middle East, and one of the things that you discover early in the morning is their prayer announcement, and it's done over a loudspeaker. And when you first hear that, early in the morning, it scares you because you're just not accustomed to it. But after being there for a period of time, you get accustomed and you don't even hear it in the morning. So the lady talking about the noise in the jungle, we're distracted by so many things. But when we go within, those outward distractions fade.
Yes. Yes. That is something anyone can do. But it does, in the beginning, take great effort to do it. And that's what you need, is to start. Everything is start. If you don't start, you don't proceed. But you will proceed on what you have thought. And if you're not enjoying life at the moment, then what you have thought was not creative enough for a better life. But you can make it so. You're given to make it so. Right in your own self-talk, you can change your mind, change your world, because the first does the second. So you're not actually doing anything but choosing, and God is producing whatsoever is what you're given to choose from. Surely you can think of something better to choose, wouldn't you say?
I would say, and in the choosing, don't find yourself discouraged when you choose and 5 minutes later you don't manifest what it was that you've chosen. It's a process. We have to be patient with ourselves.
Well, that was the biggie. That was my biggest problem right there, was just being patient with myself. That's why it took me years to get what should take you weeks, months. That's all it really takes. If you'll be turned around in your thinking and feeling by your own efforts of being turned around, because it is you feeling after that you receive. It says, seek and you shall find. So are you doing the seeking? You see, are you actually feeling after what it is you are? I am that. And be that completely. And the more completely, the more objectively it'll be in your world of experiencing. Attitudes. That's what you want to know. What are your attitudes? About what? The world in general, because, look, all about the dying, we're told very plainly in Scripture, there's nothing transforming in death. So that right there, there's nothing transforming. In other words, what you take with you is your general attitude about life. And I would want you to take the best attitude you can be concerned with you. And that is that you're thinking lovely and of good report, rather than your problems, because you don't want to take them with you, but you will. If you don't drop them here, you'll take them with you, because there's nothing transforming in death. You play the same part, same problems, insecurities, fears, wants. If you take them with you, drop them now. That's the message of all the good. Do it now. That now is the hour that it's done. When you choose it, and you're given, choose this day. Isn't that the story?
That is the story. And as you were speaking about nothing transforming in death, so it is in life. If you're focusing on your problems and you thinking that tomorrow is going to be better, but you wake up tomorrow thinking again about your problems, you're going to be living in the Groundhog Day. And what I mean by this, you're going to keep repeating the same story. So even as there's nothing transforming in death, also with your life, if you keep doing the same things, keep thinking the same thoughts, feeling the same feelings, you're going to reproduce the same results.
Right, you are. And that you can take to the bank. Yeah. Well, there we'll get a few comments about the hilariousness of it.
And, the thing is, understand, as Mr. Lindell will often remind you, we're not laughing at you, but we're understanding that we've been in the exact same place and we've lived this out. So we know that what we're telling you is so. And so what we're trying to do is shortcut your challenges, your problems, your issues by giving you tools so you can do just that.
Exactly so. Exactly so. That's it. That's what it's all about. That your say is a valid say. So be very careful how you share it out there, because it is the self of self directing self. And that's what you're here to do better, is be a better director. You are the director of your life. He said they themselves are makers of themselves. So you are the director of your everydayness. What are you directing in your everydayness? Because you are doing the directing, good or otherwise. And that's the difference that makes the difference. What are you directing? If you know, then you know what your future is. If you don't know, then you don't know any what's going on today, wouldn't you say?
I would. And that's the wonderful thing about these talks and Neville's talks and Dr. Joseph Murphy's talks is you become aware. So many of us have lived a life unaware. So our life was haphazard and things just seemed to pop in and out of our lives and we had no control. With these talks, what you do is at least begin to question what it is that you're giving your attention to. And that's the beginning of change.
Yeah, but you can always find out that because you're experiencing it. That's what you have been thinking. You're experiencing it now. Is it what you want? If not, well, what you're thinking ahead of your experiences is causing it. So that means that since you're thinking ahead of your evidence causes it, it can cause something else because you're thinking ahead. You're always thinking ahead of your evidence, the experiencing, good or otherwise. Just see that the conference before matches up with your the ideal of what you want, desire to do, to be, to have, and then just say, I am that. And then from that moment on, you're thinking feelingly from being that, your ideal. And the more you can do so, the more it's building all the time. Every little idea that will come to you in the case of that particular idea that you're feeling after, it's always building, it's always expanding. But then so is your negative attitudes and ideas. They're expanding also, and just sucking you into that negative feeling constantly, which is actually driving you crazy. And that's what you want relief from, because it is the relief. That's what Neville was telling us. Turn to the relief. You're told, let go and let God. Turn to the relief. That's the absolute relief that you're looking for. And it's right with you. It's with you right now. You can go home this evening before you go to bed. Spend a little time thinking of what it was you heard today. That you're in charge if you'll take charge. And all you have to do to take charge is just show up. Isn't that it?
That's it. That's it. And some of you, when you begin to go home and meditate and go to sleep, you're going to have a dream that's seemingly contrary to what it is that you thought that you've been meditating. Don't focus on that. Keep living from the end, or being what it is that you desire. Now, some of you will say, well, I don't know how to be what I've never been. You've done it your whole life, and you did it best as a child. You made believe until that which were thought had become your reality.
Have they ever done a second day the same as the last? It's always changeable. Every word makes it changeable. Change it. Make it say something different than it said before, and you'll experience the difference. And what the difference is, that's your business. Are you minding your business? If you're choosing the changes in your world of experiencing, that's minding your business. But if you're looking on without for problem solving, it's only there as a message that comes by the hearing of the ear. But you who must exercises that idea. It's you who takes up the challenge of being, I am that, my ideal, my passion. And you do have a passion, I hope. I hope you do have a dream. We're told that when the people fail to dream, they start to die. Start to die. So that gives you always a chance to change your mind, change your world. And you're given to do so. And understand that people don't seem to want the responsibility to actually feel after themselves, being what they desire. Why is that? What are you waiting for? I waited and waited. I don't know what I was waiting for either. But the thing of it is, once you start, and that's the whole idea. Start. And the start is always now. So if you're in charge of just now, then you've got to start. That's all it takes. And you follow through. Oh, you'll fall off here and there, but just get back on the track as quick as you can. And you do so by choosing the next thought. And if you can choose your next thought, that's working out your own salvation, isn't it?
It is. You know, you said when people fail to dream, they start to die. So what we discover is get yourself a dream, because dreams are life-giving.
Yep. And they always follow your mood. What is your mood? You can change your mood, can't you? I mean, if you can't, well, sorry about that, but that's just you're unaware that you can change it, and you can. And to do so, I mean, look a little child. Just watch the little children. A little child can be whining, crying, and just being havoc 1 minute, and in a minute, his person can change completely into, oh, it's happy time. Why can't we do that now? We lost that. We lost that childish feeling of fatherhood, of something precious to us, but yet we can't feel it. We can't know it from our senses, from our feeling of touch, but from our thought. That's one with the Creator. And He knows what you have need of even before you ask. That's why Jesus' prayer was always, thank you, Father, because He knew, the Father knew. And when you know the Father knows what you have need of, you'll have it. And it's always choose this day, isn't it?
It is, you know, and you gave them the key, and I don't want them to miss it. Gratitude. Thank you, Father. What is it that you want? And then get into the state. Said, let the weak say that I'm strong. So we can say, let the impoverished say that I'm rich, or the person that's without relationship say I'm loved. What is it that you want? And then once you claim whatever that is, thank you, Father.
Yep, that's it. And just be forewarned that the things that you're choosing, are you aware that you need to be experienced a little bit in such things as, say, suddenly having a great deal of money? You might find it out to be, you'll be wind up wishing you were back when you wanted to think about the dollars rather than having them. And I've seen experiences of that, and I've actually I've talked to people who really, they're envious of the people who just have what they call a normal daily life. You have it all with you right now. I don't care who you think you are. I'm telling you, it is yours right here, right now, your highest ideals. And all you have to do is move in and start thinking from them rather than of them. And that's the difference that makes the difference. Go sit in the silence and think about that one for a while. Wouldn't you say?
I would say, and you said something. You said you have it all right now. And that's the difference that makes the difference. And what I mean by that is many of us are looking for happiness. We're looking for prosperity. We're looking for a relationship. And you have it all within you right now. And if you begin operating from happiness now, the things that you desire will be attracted to you. Many of us operate from not having, so the only thing that we can reproduce is more not having.
That's it. What you're looking for is looking for you. I mean, that tells you the whole story, really, doesn't it?
It does.
and to make it clear to you, God's on your side. You understand? God's on you. He's not frowning on you. God is on your side. What could you possibly lose if you understood that and practice what you say you believe? If you don't believe it, that's you denying you, isn't it?
It is. It is. And I love that you made a point to let them know that God is on their side and he will deny you nothing. It's like the prodigal son. He says, son, all that I have is yours, and the thing is, all that God has is ours. What we're given to choose.
It's so good to hear that back to me, I love that. I love to hear someone else saying that. All of it, because it means they've got a piece of it. See that and once you've gotten a little piece of it, then that will be your controlling factor in your life, and that's what you wanted. You wanted God to be on your side. He's on your side. He's telling you, you turn to me, I'll turn to you. It's only when you deny me, I deny you, because we're one. How can I identify myself to you in any more than I have? I'm omnipresent. I'm with you always. I never leave you. I'll never deny you. What is your experiencing? What are your excuses? Excuses. That's the voice of hell. You don't need an excuse to be who you are. You only need an excuse to be who you think you are. You think they got that one?
I think so, and it goes back to what you were saying, the excuses that we use to keep us back and so forth is truly the voice of hell, because what we're saying is at that point, we don't have what it is that we desire. And we're given, as stated earlier, to choose, and so you said that God could not deny himself, which is so true. If we're being denied and God can't deny himself, it goes back to what we've often said, all denial is self-denial.
And if you understand that, you understand you got no reason at all to blame the world around you or other people. That's self in self and risen drama.
question, and I'm going to mark this time. Has your phone position changed? Because your volume has dropped.
Oh, it has?
Now it's good. That's good.
Oh, how about that? Just from turning the phone around. You see how easy signals are changed? That should show you it's easy to change. You just turn around. You said, you turn to me, I'll turn to you. That's an invitation from God. How much more simpler do you want it if you got an audience with God?
You know, I like the scenario that we came up with. I think I'm going to keep it in the call because I think that it's important. And it's funny, in turning to God, how the volume goes up.
Well, you know, the wonderful thing about it is that when I first started making a copy of these things, I had no real. I like the idea. I always had them to listen to, but the idea was that now, when I turn back to those that I made in the 60s, in the 70s, in the 80s, in the 90s, I would been listening to those, and actually, it has changed to just this giving the ideal basis of what we're sharing with you, that it is you who has a say to carry out any idea that you focus on. And that's the story of what we're doing, isn't it?
It is, and it's funny because a lot of times what people fail to understand is that when we're doing these talks, even as we're giving the message to them, we're speaking to ourselves.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Make this your self-talk. That's what I did. I'm sure that's what you did, because I know that's how you understand it. Otherwise, you wouldn't. If I told this to you, say, years before you came on it, if I told this to you 100 times, you may not even give it a second thought. But if your hunger comes upon you to know first person, then it'll happen quickly. But the hunger must come upon you to know first person. And that's all we're looking for, is the people who want to know first person, because they're the best sharing. That's people to go out and share it with the world. And if everybody tells one, then everybody will know. And that's the whole idea, isn't it? For everybody.
Yeah, it really is the whole idea. And the thing is, when you were speaking, the first person that came to my mind was the woman at the well. When the Christ Spirit spoke to her and it resonated with her, she went out and told the whole town that somebody told her whole life story. And I think that as people listen to this, they hear their own life story being played out. And that's why they so resonate with the message.
Yeah, well, it happens to you as it happens to anybody, because God's no favorite. God's not favoring anybody. Everybody is exactly the same to him. He loves you all. And he even says, blessed is the man that does not condemn himself for that which he has allowed. Wow. There's total forgiveness, isn't it?
It is. It is. So, sir, as we're winding down, attitude awareness, imaginational control, what would you say to the listener?
Do it. Be it. Have it. It's yours. You have it. Just recognize it. That's all you have to. And the only thing you have to do to recognize it is sit in the silence and be still and know that I'm God. Is that it?
That's it. That's it. Sir, it's been a pleasure.
Yes, it has. Yes, it has. It always is. Always is. I'll talk to you later.
Talk to you later.
People just want to know what you did to be successful.
The 4 CDs that I have out there, it's all there. If you took any one of the CDs and actually followed through on what you understood there, you could change your mind, change your world. All you have to do is just listen to the CDs it's always reiteration and reiteration.
I want to go back to the board CD set. Go to metaphysicalarttheater.com. We can only mail in the U.S. right now, but for those who are outside the U.S., we can send you a digital bundle with everything, so you'll get the enjoyment without waiting for it in the mail. Matter of fact, those who are in the U.S., if you would rather have the digital copies, we can do that as well. metaphysicalarttheater.com.